Alright, hello and welcome to another Devstream breakdown. So, Devstream 86, a lot of stuff happened, so let's just get into this. First, they talked again about the Starter Sentinel, which is going to be the first Sentinel new players get, and kind of the introduction to the companion system. This was talked about a long time ago, but we got a little bit more word on what it might entail. It looks like this, for those that do not remember. It is kind of adorable in a weird way. I like how it looks quite a bit. But that thing is supposed to kind of, in theory, have like a shield/health like vampire thing to promote early game survivability, because early on you don't have a lot of alternative ways to heal like life strike or stuff of that nature. So that kind of fills that role as a Sentinel. I think that Sentinel will probably end up being pretty good if it fills like a lot of utility type roles, because as we've seen with the new carrier and how Helios works, utility type roles are really important. And that kind of goes for Shade as well. So that'll be really awesome when that comes out. I'm really looking forward to that actually quite a bit. Beyond that, we got some more word on the Bard frame. We saw a couple animations that the Bard dances in her agile stance. Then last time we talked about the Bard, we know that she just foot taps for her normal. And that stuff's all fine and good. But we got to see progress on the sequencer, which looks like this now. And is pretty complicated. So without going too much in depth into this, there's going to be a lot more to this than even last time we heard about this. There's going to be different instruments and all kinds of other shit, and this is all work in progress, so it could change, but it seems like this thing's going to be pretty complicated. So yeah, but like complicated but also simple. They said that there's going to be a kind of default or like presets that you can just be like, yeah, just put those on and like don't make me interact with this. So that'll be kind of nice for anyone who doesn't really want to take part of that stuff. And then they said a thing that's really, really cool, which is to have shareable like fingerprint codes, which means that similar to how you would make characters in like Mass Effect, I believe Mass Effect 2 had this, I think, where you could have like just a code that is your character and then like give that to other people if you wanted to. That shit is really awesome, and I love that a lot. So it'll be really easy to send songs out to people or tweet stuff out, whatever. So that stuff sounds great. Maybe that could be worked back into other systems like cosmetics and other things that way. I don't know. That might be really cool. I think those like little shareable codes are rad, so there's that. Beyond that, they talked kind of vaguely, let's call it vaguely, about like sound in the environment and sound that you can make with your weapons. Maybe taking that stuff into account with how much damage or whatever the Bard frame can output. All that stuff seems pretty early still, so not sure where it's all gonna end up, but I'm excited for it. Moving on, we gotta talk about Sorties, and also I have another page of notes, so don't you worry, it's not just this. So Sorties, Rebecca brought up the token system, and then that issue and whole concept was immediately sidestepped. So I guess we're not going to be hearing about that anytime soon. But what they are adding is a sortie-only Ayatan, which... Nope, not that. That is a different thing we'll talk about in a second. Sortie-only Ayatan. So this is going to replace the 2k Endo reward. And it's going to have a base value with no stars in it of 2k, and then you'll be able to put stars in it for more value, which sounds awesome, because there are some changes to Ayatans to go with that make that really, really awesome. I'm excited for that to be the case, because it means if you've been playing a while and you've just got a lot of stars laying around because you've been picking them up every time you see them, it means you're pretty much always getting more than 2k Endo anytime you would get this in a sortie, so that stuff's great. Also, alternatively to that, this thing looks fucking awesome, and I want one in my ship right now. So there's that, also. But yeah, with that, the Ayatan news is that there is going to be no more credit tax whenever you're converting Ayatans into Endo, which is amazing for new players, because it means that doing that Maroon mission, that Maroon mission gives you a good amount of credits that you're going to need starting out, and it's on Earth, so you're going to be there starting out. And those Ayatans that you get from that mission are incredibly valuable to a new player who's going to be getting very small amounts of Endo at a time normally. With that, it means that new players will actually have access to like a reasonable amount of Endo per week, without them having to like just sit in a survival for a while and like just grind that shit out. So that's going to be fantastic across the board, and I think will be an incredibly large boon to the free-to-play through that shit's for sure, because I was doing those missions just for the credits anyway, and then yeah, so that'll be outstanding. Also, in terms of the sortie stuff, just going back to that for a moment, they mention, is a very brief mention, but I think this is important, eliminating stacking endless, which I think, possibly, my interpretation of that is making it so that we're not seeing sorties, which are like defense, survival, mobile defense, like shit like that, because then it's like, people don't really want to do defense survival, like that's like, I don't know, that seems like a general thing, and I can see why that would be the case, because that's usually the sorties that I skip, where it's like, I actually don't really feel like that today. So, yeah. That being changed seems great, and then more mission types being added to that for more variety is also good. Beyond that, they said some credit economy stuff, which basically boils down to they're going to be nerfing the SECURA LECTA, most likely, and yeah, they're going to be nerfing the SECURA LECTA, absolutely for certain. So if you're using that to farm credits right now, continue doing so until they fix it, I guess. Yeah. Also, for anyone that is going to be coming down off that high of getting a ton of credits from that, hey, maybe try raids. I have like literal infinite credits because I just raid like relatively frequently, so it's a great way to get credits and also platinum from trading and also literally kind of everything else too. It's good fun. I teach raids today at 6. That's it. That's going to be like basically right as this video is coming out. I'm like teaching raids, like getting people ready for new ones, so that's what's happening. Come hang out. That'll be on Twitch and here also. You know, whatever. Anyway, moving on. Deluxe skins. We got some deluxe skin stuff. That's not that. We got some deluxe skin updates on like kind of where things are. Apparently, the Chroma deluxe skin has its in-game mesh done and all that. So the next one we're getting is going to be Chroma, followed by Mag, who can be seen here. And then the final one is Zephyr, which is apparently like a passion project of one of the developers, so that one's going to be the slowest one to come out, and that's why we've heard about it for so long, and then it still hasn't gotten done. So Chroma next, then Mag, and then we got Zephyr way over there. So that's going to be the order for those deluxe skins, which is cool. I'm pretty excited for the Chroma one. Maybe they can tweak some of his ability stuff while they're doing that. That'd be rad. So there's that, and then moving on to kind of page 2 here, we've got some other stuff to take a look at. Not that one. That's way too far ahead. Nope, not that one either. There we go. Wait, no. That's not correct. That's not correct either. There it is. Okay, so first we've got the charger. This is what the new charger is going to look like. There was some rough concept art before, but this is a little bit more, this is what the charger is going to look like. And he seems better, much better visually, a lot more unique, a lot more Nidus-y, which is cool. Beyond that, they said there might be some ability changes to what the helmet charger can do, so maybe that'll be awesome. But once again, probably not going to be used by a lot of people because no vacuum, so that's unfortunate. Anyway, though, we then have some Arcwing stuff to talk about. So I feel like I might not be alone in this. They talked about adding Arcwing to sorties in the future. Please don't do that. Like, please don't do that. Because, like, Arcwing is... my impression, as someone who spends a lot of time talking to you guys on stream and stuff, is that pretty... like, most people don't like Arcwing at all. Like, they, like, hate Arcwing. Like, a lot. Like, it really sucks. Combine that with it being nauseating for some players and not being able to separately customize the controls. It's not a good scene right now. So if those are going to be included in sorties, which you're kind of wanting all players to do, Arcwing needs to get better. Like, way better. Like, way better. Like, to the point where people actually want to play it at least. Because, like, for me personally, I'm okay with Arcwing. It's fine. I think in JV is when Arcwing is actually doing what Arcwing is probably supposed to do, and any other time is kind of not. But yeah. Yeah, like, at the very least, like, we have separate control schemes for fucking Lunaro. Like, Arcwing needs a separate control layout, because right now you can, like, adjust, like, your look-around speed and shit, and that is not enough. Like, I need entirely, like, separate complete keybinds to make that stuff more playable. And it's like, yeah, no. Also, like, the FOV is so close on it for so many players. And actually, scratch that. I'm sorry. The FOV is so close in general in Warframe. Maybe finally pulling that back that a lot of us have wanted for a while. maybe do that. That would be very, very helpful in reducing the nauseatingness for a lot of players, I think. And then beyond that, just making the game more fun for me personally, because I don't get motion sick, but I do get this feels kind of shitty to play. Anyway, moving on from that business, we've got, let's just talk about this right now because I've got it up here. I actually didn't make a note of this, did I? Did I make a note of this? I didn't make a note of this. This is the new Inaros alt helm that's going to be going in. That's why it's in the wrong order here. So this is the new Inaros alt helm. This is what it looks like. I think it looks like shit, personally. I do not like it at all, but I'm sure it's there for somebody, so there you go. I've already got my helmets that I like for Inaros anyway, so if this is your shtick, then there you go. Moving on from that, that's helmet charger again. Moving on from that, we got the nullifier changes. So, these look great. Like, this looks absolutely wonderful. We've got the little drone that comes out of the backpack whenever the nullifier notices you and turns their shield on. So that's going to be hovering above them, and as you can see in this screenshot here, it lowers with the ceiling. So you're no longer going to have nullifiers sitting in tiny little rooms with the door closed, and their bubble is just outside the room. That stuff seems great. It seems like like once this goes in, if it goes in just as shown, I cannot think of even one reason to complain about nullifiers in, like, the future. Like, unless it's, like, super buggy, but, like, then that can just be fixed over time. Or hopefully right away, even. But yeah, like, if they just function exactly as shown on that stream, nullifiers at that point seem like they're just a really well-rounded, well-designed enemy that makes you react to them when they show up, which is hopefully what the goal is for all enemies in the game, or all, like, higher-tier enemies, not so much grunts. But yeah, that seems fantastic. I'm pretty excited for that. Then they showed the Corpus Spear Gun during that very, very shortly. Basically, when you throw that, it'll tether enemies to the ground, which is cool. And then it fires similarly to an Opticore, so there's potential for that weapon. It's going to be unique at the very least, and I'm excited to try it out, because the tethering seems interesting. Because the tether will also do periodic damage, it sounded like, so I don't know. Might be some business to be done there. And then aside from that, we got the new round of Tenogen, which can be seen here. These look fine. There's a large amount of stuff here. We got like a full skin. That one's also a full skin. A helmet, another helmet. That Limbo helmet looks awesome. If that Limbo rework is good, rest assured I'm gonna have that helmet. 2 Syndanas in the back. Then we got an Ash skin, a Hydroid helmet, a Nyx skin, a Saren skin, a Vauban skin, and then the last is the Mesa Grax skin, which, yeah, lots of cosmetics. Looks nice. So that's going to be getting out of the game. But the more so reason we're talking about Denogen today, because I usually just kind of skip it if it's just like a small footnote, is that stuff is going to be, if everything works out, more quickly being added to consoles. So for those of you on consoles, there's going to be like more upfront plans with the creators of these things to get them like a contract or whatnot, so that stuff can just be on consoles as soon as possible. So that sounds awesome, because that means you guys are going to have access to that stuff, which more people having access to Tenogen seems personally great, because there's a lot of really good stuff on there that everyone should get to enjoy. Besides that, the Nemesis type system, which is similar to Shadow of Mordor, has been kind of changed in what its intent is, I suppose. It's no longer going to be like a personal mission like they had kind of originally pitched it as, I suppose. It's now going to be like a clan versus enemy organization type of scenario. So you and your clan versus an enemy organization of some description. So there's going to be that, and there's going to be like investigation type things where you're like figuring out who your targets are and then going out and like hunting them down and stuff. It seems interesting. Conceptually, I'm into it. I was very into the Nemesis system in Shadow of Mordor. That held that game together and like made it like great game that game is. So I'm excited for that. And then beyond that, there's going to be like a ratings leaderboard, they said, which will probably determine some amount of rewards. Yeah, that stuff seems really cool. As someone who is in the unique position of having a very active clan, that stuff seems really fucking awesome. So, yeah, there's that. Beyond that, early status mods. Status mods are going to be looked at, they said, and that's the early status mods are the mods that came out that were like, they're like nothing in number. It's like a melee status mod that gives you like 15% status, which is like nothing. Taking another look at those and making those probably actually usable. That stuff sounds great. So yeah, and then what I feel like is going to be kind of a controversial, controversy, whatever, note by them is that Damage 3.0 is not going to be a change to mods so much as it is going to be a change to enemies, which it is a good direction, and it's something that I can support, but I feel like it misses the point of what people don't like about the current damage system. So, while like the nullifier change that we just went over that I think is awesome, that stuff makes the enemy more counterable by more various things, and it's an enemy you have to react to and you have to play smart with. And that's good. I think that's good for the game overall. I think that's what they're saying they want to do more of, but the problem with that is the thing that players don't want to do is install Serration on every single weapon they get, install Hornet Strike on every single secondary they get. Like, that's the thing. Getting a secondary weapon and then being like, okay, well, these 3 slots are Barrel Diffusion, Lethal Torrent, and Hornet Strike. They are that. There's no getting out of it. They are those mods. That's what people want to get away from. And just, like, opening yourself up to actually putting in some mods that make a difference. And I think elemental mods and stuff like that are actually kind of fine in general. Like, the mods that are just, like, near 100% auto-include, those are the ones. Those are the ones that are, like, there's nothing interesting, there's nothing fun about them. And while I think, like, the enemy problem is there, and it's good to focus on that, the boringness of, like, the beginning 4 or so mods of anyone's build is the part that sucks, and people would rather be like, oh, hey, I got a new weapon, and then you start using it, and then you go, huh, this weapon seems like it could fire a little faster, or this weapon has terrible ammo, like, it already fires super fast, and it has terrible ammo economy, so I want to add an ammo mutation right away. Like, that stuff doesn't happen, and people are just like, Serration, alright, I guess I'm using this same gun that now does higher numbers. Like, I don't know. Getting away from that stuff, I think, is the main problem people have with the damage system in actuality. So, there's that. But yeah, that's Devstream 86. A lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff, too. Just in general, like, pretty much all good news. I know a lot of people are going to be upset the SECURA LECTA is absolutely going to get nerfed. But, like, it's like, there have been, like, great ways to farm credits. Raids still exist. Dark sectors are still there. You can get plenty of credits very quickly. So I don't think there's any big bad thing there. And then that coupled with Ayatan's no longer costing credits, like, I don't know. I don't see a downside personally. But yeah, good Devstream overall. Lots of good news. Hopefully a lot of this stuff comes sooner rather than later. Hopefully Bard Frame doesn't get pushed back anymore. But yeah, that's Devstream 86. And then I'm streaming today. That'll be at 6 o'clock US Central Time, so I'm probably streaming while you're watching this video. So hopefully I'll see you there. Later, everybody. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. Later, everybody. Doesn't feel correct.